Today I arrived in China to look at, work, study in detail the flow, drum type installation operating on plastics and other various waste. Here's a pile of waste like this. We carry out an experiment by lysing into laboratory installations, granules obtained from the original polyethylene. And this is for a thermocouple, right? It turns out there. Here's the top. That's it. Now the reactor will close for us. We'll insert into this cone. And then from a gas cylinder with a burner. Let's heat it all up and see what we have. On the way out. So we properlize the granule, which we plan to industrially process it. This is the waxed material. But liquid, that is, it can be pumped, swing, and in principle, should not swing anywhere. Stand up. It turned out to be such a dry residue. The installation itself is machine type, reactor, 30 m long. There is such a powerful condensation line here. Productivity about 2 tons per hour or under $50 a day. There's a so-called gander, stuffing box, compaction. It understands as expected. Now let's see everything in detail. What do Chinese ones look and work like? Flow installations. Here is an intermediate, support. On a bandage, covered a little with a casing. Very powerful drive gear. The same powerful support bandage. It's quite cluttered here. Designs. Let's just say some are dubious. Solutions. Well, let's see how it all works. Here is the screw feeder. He has a certain type, shutter, which forms a plug from raw materials, so preventing the gas from escaping, and therefore air gets inside. Next comes another transverse, one of the same. Screw feeder. There is also a shutter, directly feeding auger with. Bunker. That is a fairly large bunker. Obviously, front loader bucket quietly in. It is served. That's how huge he is. There's a camera there. They're growers. Inside, so as not to interfere. Here, for understanding, the pipe is almost 500 for supplying material because that's the fertility of plastic. 0.10.2, maximum 0.3 tons per cubic meter. This is the kind of plastic they work on here. Different mix. Polyethylene, polypropylene, and so on. They were digging. Not catalytic. Here, aspirator. It's worth it so that it doesn't all get dusty. Case. From this angle, it looks like this. The most powerful motors of 22 kilowatts. Gearboxes. Also similar in appearance, 500 kilograms. Every. Now, gear. 150 millimeters wide. Exactly. It even looks redundant, which is extremely unusual for the Chinese. Here. I'll put this gearbox in my hand. Huge bastard. Also against the background of the palm. Yes. Here's the stuffing box seal here. You can see it until it poisons you. So an interesting seal is made in the junction of the reactor drum with the casing. There is this floating seal drum, 1.9 m in diameter. It expands by about 12 or even 15 mm, and in order to prevent air leaks. It was like these rusting records, thus leveling out the expansion. Liquid burners are controlled, and accordingly, automation. Okay, I'm not just a reporter here. I'm doing something, as they say, yes. That's why I'll be distracted. Sometimes. So now the warm-up is on. Liquid burners. Here they are. They are in principle classic. We have the same ones. Yes, you can even see the flames standing nearby. Gas burners, but these are not burners. They are essentially mixers, nozzles. That is according to gas is supplied to this path. Air is supplied. And whatever it is, there is a sophisticated control system here. The operator opens completely manually. Gas valve, air regulates. Somehow magically tries. These are all 9 pairs of burners. Well, they are a pair. Gas plus liquid fuel. Adjusts so that it has. Necessary for the Pyrolysis process. Temperature. How is this resolved here? That is, since there is one common pipe, here are 1, 2, 3, 4, well, a path. 81, yes, and into one common pipe into the chimney. There is a smoke exhauster to adjust this system on every smoke here. A damper is installed in the selection pipe. And temperature. And here they have an important thermometer. That's less than 100. That is, he is now. Of course, it doesn't show much because he, first of all, outside is outside. Reactor, but it will then show when more gases flow through it. And essentially, the operator says that for him. This is the main sensor. That is, when the temperature is below 450, it is. The normal process is going on. That is dry. The remainder is cooked. And when it falls there, for 30, for example, then you already need to add burner power. Section defined there. Well, here it is. Expected stuffing box. It flows, yes, but due to the fact that the reactor still depends on the temperature and altitude. Increases, and the opinion is definite. Yes, but this thing is responsive. Stands stationary, does not level at all. No run out, no thermal coefficient. Extensions. So accordingly, that's a minus. Well, further gases here. They go upstairs. Condensation line. I won't talk too much about her here. Bother. Well, gas is coming through the pipes. Coming. There's a special auger that, so executed that the carbon leaving shuts up the system. Yes, this whole system. And pollen gases are not carried away with him. Here's after. This soot from his feeder is already coming. One main auger, simple, water-jacketed transfer material for carbon cooling. Behind him is the second screw. Well, here already, in fact, certain unloading is carried out. Carbon. But the guys moved on. They put a bucket elevator here and there. Conveyor. Carbon is further transported to another shop. There is a conveyor along which carbon is coming. This is also for recycling. So, carbon packaging. And sectional heating is going on. That is, they burners the entire length of the reactor under. Warms up at different temperatures. And so, these are thermocouple casings. Yes, that's it. 2 are standing there at the end here. Thus, they determine how to warm up strong. Each zone. Because it is clear that the gradient of the difference. Temperatures will constantly increase from beginning to end. The reactor is still warming up, so the feed is not produced. Unfortunately, we are a little cautious. We relate to what is not happening. No reactor purging because there may still be pyrolysis, gases. The reactor is now inevitably full. Air. This is the workshop. There are many such workshops. Here's another angle. There. Mighty gear. You can't say anything. From another angle, the condensation line. It is clear that the design is far from modular. Lots of things in place here. Installed, built, was made because these are all things inconvenient for loading into the space there, container or car. Therefore, the editing was obviously slow. Here, you can see how much the reactor has expanded. This strip, right? Here, that is here. Now it's about 95, probably, millimeters. And according to estimates, he is an extension. I think even 210 millimeters. That, there is still less than half of it, lengthened. Here is the auger drive itself, which is under this gander. T, yes, and carbon. Through a spiral chases from the beginning too. N passes this zone. Here he is. Pours down, the auger picks it up and takes it directly outside. But from behind such a big booth, you can see, yes, that there's a drain valve here for liquid residue. In one way or another, there is something there. Drain periodically. And now the water is dripping. This gland seal is not hermetically sealed, possibly when heated. The drum will expand, and this moment will go away. But nevertheless, you can see the blackness from above. Here you can organize a probe and supply burner air intake to this burner. Smoke. So, in principle, it is possible. Little blood is actually 100% solved. Question. There are many taps here. Regulating water supply. On the street. The cooling tower is standing healthy. Here are the pumps. Pumping out fuel. The tractor is still warming up. You can see how much more he left. Now, approximately 130 millimeters. It got longer. On rollers. This also shows how much he was driving. We go on backlit burners. Now the main idea is to immerse raw materials that may have difficulty sealing here. In these screw feeders, which have this system and, in fact, pre-pressing material for blocking, release of pyrolysis gases and non-entry, air inside. So here are our indicators. This is my first time here myself. Fine. Level 46 millimeters, 2 millimeters. That is, these sensors track height. A column of fuel that is now missing. They devastated. Yeah, well, almost there. Warmed up. It's already 600 degrees here. This part is not heated until Pyrolysis does not work. 10,378, 386. The red feed is still off. Accordingly, soot unloading, here it is. Apparently, it's turned off. The pressure in the system is 13 kilopascals. Herein, pipe 104 degrees will grow exactly when Pyrolysis will do. Accordingly, the tanks are empty. This, turning on the fuel pumps, finally went. Loading. This is where we can get it from. Observe. There's one person spinning around here. Second. Now is the most crucial moment to begin. Submissions. Yes, light. We won't see anything here. In theory, we need to go to the BLK panel now and look at everything from there. Because, well, actually it's possible. See here? The schnee is turning. Exactly. Raw materials from the bunker are supplied to the waste bins. What? Into this, and like this, it is fed through 3 augers. Into the reactor. Let's go have a look. She wakes up. Now he's trying to spin up the scam. Here they are, 3 augers. 1, 2, 3. Here he has 3 indicators. Accordingly, there's a Hertzavka with which the frequency at which the augers rotate in the direction. Rotation right left. There he had raw materials in the middle auger. He tries to spin it in both directions. And his amperage, respectively, looks, if the amperage is too high, then there is some kind of traffic jam, and he's trying. Roll it out, as they say there. Put it back in a swing. Here he is 18. The second partner is watching him. Screws directly. The raw materials have already gone directly. Second, I downloaded the 3rd auger. The load dropped 11, a 13A. That is, there's simply raw materials there. So he rocked it. We are expecting a fed at first. The time is already night. I'm a little tired. The voice slowed down. This means that the download has been enabled. Now I understand, in test mode. These 2 augers froze a little. The raw material in them is inside because they're corking. This traffic jam was rocked, all the traffic, given. They gave me a small entrance, it turns out. By the way, we turned it off. Well, now, apparently, they will turn it on. So here you go. You can see the camera is here. Here she is. Here's the hatch open in this. First siren. And what falls in second? School. And here is the first camera. Here she stands. Looks at the bunker. What if it's on the left? First camera. Here is the second from the first pose raw material. Very little in hits. We don't know why yet. Such a low feed. It is removed into the second pulley. It's barely pouring here. It is even clear that. Rotation speed. Practically none. Well, maybe they have something right. Getting started looks like this. We are now. So we organized the delivery back and forth. We shook it, twisted it, it was still stable. While the feed auger is at 10 hertz. This, the smallest, as they say, small move. Forward. Now he's checking. Performance starts the augers. Carbon offloading. That is, here's the first one. Sluice auger, second with cooling it. The third is all ready for issuing the product. Here, accordingly, you can see 10 amperes. Load, 10 hertz first rotation speed. Auger, further 25 hertz. This is the second longitudinal screw, and 6A total load. And the third, 30 hertz and 6. And 2. That is, according to the rules when snobs are sequential, then the first one is the most. Slow, last, respectively, the fastest. That is, now I understand that no one is in a hurry, strictly according to the regulations apply. That is, they are convinced. Now, both in person and by instruments, that's all. Works as it should. And further, I understand they will have to start accelerating. The first worker at the staple shop. Hit. But looks like that's it. They've already started serving. We got some raw materials there. I can't determine its size. Cogs, about 2. Like 2 months or something. Well, somehow so wide. The bunker for it is finished. Well, that is according to the regulations. Here, check the serving snooks. Check the unloading snares. And then the supply of the mass itself follows. In the meantime, they still served. Coming. That is, the installation is apparently inertially, consistently, slowly. Unwinds. There is no such thing. Warmed up, drove everything full. Calicule. No, I collected something like 210. Cows by type 2.40, 2.50. He'll hide somewhere so that he won't attack me. Fourth, take off. Because here he is right above me. Two.
所以你现在想把它慢慢降到23、22、23。
他现在观察一下，他如果再升，我们就要关了它，就要把它来关了。
So he only has one burner here. Lights up green. There is only one burner at the bottom. Works. Waiting for a reaction. Calm down. And at 7 hertz, then the lower left. A square where the feed is in grams of total. Holds.
对，这个储气的一个气囊，它这个是这个了，这里，它一个储气。
So this one is increasing. It means you have production.
This one is increasing means you have. Production is not stable, so you have something rising.
它是测这个高度，
English.
那个是一个高度。
And the level in it is growing actively. That is, the reaction is unstable. This is a new raw material for them. Now, they need it. You can adapt to it. That is, what we have now is, this ridge is approximately clear. That is, gas formed after passing through the line. Condensation goes to the gas collector, where 16. Pasca, and after it just now. It was 5, then 6, now it's 9. KPSKY. And there was some kind of traffic jam there. What do the operators think? Well, this. The main thing is to stay safe, as I always say. The operators are correct in this regard. Go, but still the difference. Leveled out. You couldn't understand. What kind of 1,300 millimeters figure is this? Hey, it turns out in this iron barrel. Inflatable tank. And none soft. It turns out this soft gas holder inside. Iron barrel. And as it increases, in diameter shows its height. Here, it's just now. So we increased the rotation speed. Reactor. Accordingly, we made sure that we have everything. Okay, new material is being supplied. No leaks. Well, here we have soft golder.
15 kilopascal, yes, now.
15 call. Yes. Now. Yes. You see, he doesn't fall. The pressure is in. Soft gateway. And now there are 7 burners. Gas ones, they work so you can. Say that it's on your own gas. Coming, that is not the one that's somewhere out there. Preserved.
In this place. That's why he wants to make it faster. So the smoke here.
Too much raw material collected in the beginning, yes?
Yes.
How did he understand it? I do not understand. How did he understood that too much raw material in the beginning?
By experience.
By experience.
And normally, standard operation, the raw material should only take up around 1/5 of the sectional surface. So
Of the weight.
of the sectional
Height.
height, yes. So it's just sectional surface, just 1/5.
1/5, okay,
Not-
20% of hate.
Yes, and just
20%.
You drink better to show better.
Drink.
Заодно производительность проверяем, то есть вот эта куча была
At the same time, we check the performance. There was this pile of about 5. Oh, well, 4 to 5.
Остатки ее загружают.
Now, accordingly, it remains loading.
Подъем производительности.
That is, we are waiting for performance. 2 tons per hour.
Камеру это выглядит так,
This is what it looks like in camera.
а вот здесь прямо видно парит.
But here you can clearly see it floating and judging. Apparently, pyrolysis spoils. Therefore, we don't even see the camera. That is, this suggests that the compaction of this auger with raw materials that looks like this.
Не справляется
So, it can't
со
cope
своей
with this
задачей. То есть вот тушенка пластика,
task.
она уплотняется
That is,
на
here is
хорошо.
fluff plastic.
А
It seals
касаемо
well.
именно,
And regarding. Exactly, Eli.
то гранулят здесь уже
Granule. Then the granule is already here. Apparently, it doesn't seal well. Here we are now, found a frequency ratio and speed. Rotation of the screws in order to compact as much as possible seriously. And so, it is clear that the leakage has dropped significantly, practically absent.
поглядывает, например, вот
Well, now he looks, for example, here, in the second auger.
который выгружает
Here, this is the second auger here. This one that unloads carbon sharply. The amperage went up, that is the load on. The engine, it just increased the frequency, that is accordingly filled. I lowered the lace. Well, this is roughly what an online game is like. Him. Well, in his soft airlock. Accordingly, the height dropped to 640 millimeters. That's why he's turning on the gas burner now. Extinguished 1 liquid fuel. Turn it on.
Например,
Here the operator, for example.
скажем, опыте на скилле,
He works purely on his own, so to speak. Experience, skill.
в том числе нет четких
Some guesses, including no.
выхода на этот процесс.
Clear characteristics of the output. Processosis.
Видишь, что у него идет просадка.
And why does he see what is going well for him? Gas drawdown and had to turn it on. More oil burners.
Увеличить выход парогаза,
Temperature, increase output.
выключить.
And again, then liquid burners. Turn it off and run on pyrolysis. That, there is this whole beautiful picture with.
Она не способна.
Sequential by all units. Unable to convey the
Еще раз
process.
пройдемся. Ну, тут вот
Well, let's go through it again. Here's the stuffing.
так, ладно,
Zasophone.
принято.
So, okay, accept it.
Нормально. Там немного дымовые газы.
It's normal here. There's a little flue gases. They break out from under the casing, but they are.
Давление в топке или
The pressure there is completely out of their control. In the furnace or vacuum. There's no control over this.
здесь вроде как частоту вращения шнеков подобрали.
Here it seems like the rotation speed of the augers. Picked up, but still a little.
Из первого шнека
The sleepover is underway.
выгружается.
That is from the first screw to the second. Everything is unloaded, but that's exactly what's done. In order to maximize, press, that is the first auger,
Второй
drives as much raw material as possible into. Second, and in fact,
поддымливание значительно снизилось.
smoking has decreased significantly. One might say, to a minimum.
Материал не
Hurt a little.
требует ни работы ворошителей. Спокойно сам
The material does not require any work quietly. He leaves on his own.
дым, сейчас спокойно.
If this one comes up, the smoke is now hers. Visible.
Сейчас реактор максимально вышел на свою рабочую
Now the reactor has reached its maximum capacity, operating temperature.
22 сантиметра.
You can see how much it has lengthened. This, approximately 22
С
centimeters.
большим запасом длины сделан.
This is how a video with a large margin of length is made. Was.
Температура. Здесь уплотнение,
Temperature.
можно сказать, держит хорошо.
Here the seal, one might say, holds. Fine.
Можно не может сказать, а
At least yes. Also can't rather say that.
дымовые газы выходят.
The seal holds. Well, there are gases here. They come out, but the pump can't handle it.
Работает шнек, выпуски углерода.
The carbon unloading facility is working.
Трудно сказать, с какой скоростью
It's hard to say at what
появляется
speed.
установка материал.
The installation eats material, but there was loading. It's already time for the clock. Hard to watch. Then on video, I'll see when I was filming. Maybe they're half an hour ago. Here the man is sleeping, already tired. But as we see, it eats material. Quite active. That is this. I feel like I've been here for a few minutes. Which was back, pumps out with a bang. Although this auger rotates at a fairly low speed. There's almost no leakage. Let's see what works. This burner. Off. The gas works here. It's not on the PLC. Not shown. Accordingly, it is clear that the flame is inactive. More like a fire. Liquid is turned off. Gas works here too. Liquid is turned off. Let me remind you, steam. So, here both liquid and gas work. Both. It's the same here. Both work. Am I already driving? Well, in short, 3. Liquid works. Gas level. Here. It's off. The stuffing does not cycle. It's all very epic. While I was going back there, generally known material ended. Yes, it's completely over. Here are the rest. Come out. Well, yes, we can say that the installation consumes plastic as actively as possible. So, we're going to drive in some more. Many will probably wonder, why is the bunker so high? Him, of course, but the supply line can be organized at the 0 point. A little more transport mechanisms. But it will probably be more convenient. Well, plus digging pits. All in all, you need to think. So, he takes another pit. Well, then it's clear, yes, what will happen. Saying, first drain. Let's see what water will be there first. Settle down. Morning of the next day. We continue loading. The installation continues to operate. Past about 4.2 hours, maybe 5 for the moment. How I stopped. Since the previous shooting. Work on gas burners. So they caught the regime. Liquid one seemed to be all turned off, but gas one seemed to be all included. Here you go. Milk crate. After all, it's an oil seal connection. Not the most effective. We'll be measuring it soon. Volume of products received. Now the reactor is probably ready for everything. 23 centimeters in length. Temperature. Because they don't use a catalyst. During pyrolysis of polyethylenes, a sufficient number of them are formed. Paraffins. That is, here is the installation. Here, they built this one. Distillation column. For distillation. Paraffins, but they have absolutely nothing. It happened, as I understand it, so it's actually worth a new one. Who thinks? Ponders on the purchase of such equipment. I warn you in advance. The effect may be the same as here. And for some reason, we have two of them at once. Set. No, yes, one. Check. No, you need two. There is heating here, and from such. Burners. Yes, which are directly in the firebox. So also additional heating of flue gases. That is their circulation. That is, here's more. Liquid gas burner. And here we get such a firebox, or rather, the firebox is here. Here, the intermediate is like this. Buffer zone, and flue gases are obtained. So they are pumped out from under the casing. Come here. And they are heading, it turns out, to this zone. Here hot gases heat up the furnace. And somehow get back out. Let's go into the firebox. Oh, strange. In general, the head is no longer. Cooks. Or something is wrong with them. Well, in general, what's the logic? Not everything is so good with this guy. Equipment. If it is necessary to do distillation, plus the dry residue that is inside. Remains, of course, it's also hard. Extract. And from the fact that the drum is not rotating, the bottom will simply be burnout. And this will happen quite quickly. This is the system here. Here we built two things. Monument. So here we have peroxide gases. Let's go up. Perhaps not very well, since they poison the carbon residue on. Great Asian partial condensation. Then they pass through this pipe and descend into this container. Essentially, this is TFCI. They drain it periodically. I didn't see how it drained. It was clear that there's still fresh flowers, and that is here on camera on such a card. We'll watch further, and it turns out the insidious fuel began to flow through the pipe. And herein, these columns from top to bottom up for below. Up. So here's a sample. Carbon that is produced. Well, it's hard for a faction to say. Probably there. Up to a millimeter. Interestingly, there is no smell at all. That is, it is not poisoned by compensating gases. Apparently, the flow of gases is as follows. Big. That they are all being carried away. And well, in the laboratory now, tests. The indicator is floating, but for now it is. And 13% was a yield, and 6% was a yield. Here you go. It's still working. It's about 10 there. 13% carbon yield. Let's go take samples. Fuel. That is, now there's already a bunker in a moment. 13 tons of plastic supplied. Yes, fresh meat from under the cow. took fuel from the sampler. The installation is completely in its own mode. Judging. Apparently it's been an hour or two already. Didn't touch anyone at all. Device that has caught the feed speed. Caught the feed speed relative to each other. Friend to seal the material. Was. All liquid burners are off. All gas ones work. Temperature. Areas under the reactor casing. Here the unloading augers also caught the mode. Loads. Ampere. Small, let's say, so now. Somewhere we estimated 60 kilowatts she has. Consumption. Freeze. Drain. As refrigerant cooling, negotiable is used here. System diary. Draining like this. There are bars there. Water passes through the grate. The fan blows. Apparently, it flows here. Next is a powerful pump. Here, at the facility. I'll make a bonus video. A whole ridge. 1, 2, 3. 4. 4 3-screw transport units, who for some reason did not go. After which this one was purchased. Drum set. That is, it looks like this. I'm now, so I'll do it. This is the reactor, with 3 screws inside the thermocouple. Here's the drive. Chain drives for each auger. Here, apparently, the supply. Raw materials. Yes, we are at this level. Yeah, there's an elevator there. Through the elevator, there is loading into a common auger. Pneumatic cylinders, respectively, controls the loading volume of each. Reactor. There is a hopper here, a feeding auger. From the auger, as we already understood, yes, according to those, it all goes to 3 augers, sequentially. I don't see any further yet. This one, combustion chamber. Here the heating is apparently indirect, through such a firebox. Although, in short, I am already. I'll get lost. We need to figure it out. Oh, there you go. And so, downstairs, apparently, unloaded. Here. Not visible. Well, that is, it turns out here. The auger feeds here is the general intake auger. Dry residue. And along it all this is carried away somewhere else. Vacation. Well, in general, this is not the first time. Screw installations. For some reason, they don't work. Here you go. Apparently, a cooling line. Okay, let's see now. Yes, here is the Pyrogas outlet pipe. At the top, it looks like there is also a second one. Next, goes to the refrigerator. In from the refrigerator, cooling down there inside. That's all over. Fuel containers. Well, this is such an exquisite one. Actually, installation. How could they immediately screw up 4 of them without checking one? Then 2 more distillation ones without checking. Well, the question, as they say, is always open. Yeah. Oh, and this Noria. Somewhere from there it will flow into it. Well, it should serve. And it's distributed upward according to this. Long auger. Into the load. This auger, its beginning. Bunker material supply.
переходим к финальной задаче. Это взять
Something like that.
топливо.
Let's move on to the final task. This is fuel sampling,
Для этого сейчас все, что в топливных баках есть,
mean,
перекачивать.
determination of map balance. For this now, whatever anyone.
Пока насос вкрутит
We will pump into barrels while the pump is
пару
in.
часов, конкретное время точное.
The spikel will not work, then. Mark a specific time for a couple of hours. Accurate. And again, what was formed in the